This story took place in a small German town. My mother-in-law pulled her lower back and asked me to visit her twice a day to walk the dog. I did not refuse since I was on vacation. Unfortunately, my wife could not go to my mom's house as she was working, so it was up to me to stop by in the morning and evening. Admittedly, I grumbled a bit, but it wasn't necessary. I approached my mother-in-law and she handed me a pug leash. Her waist was wrapped in a scarf, but the rest of her outfit was anything but ordinary. A see-through blouse with a revealing neckline. As they say, feel free to stare. I glanced at my mother-in-law, marveling that she wasn't the least bit embarrassed to be so naked in front of her son-in-law. I took the pug out for a walk and brought my faithful companion home. However, my mother-in-law insisted that I stay for a cup of coffee before leaving. I figured, why not? She chatted non-stop, mostly complaining about her back, nothing out of the ordinary. We agreed that I would return in the evening to walk her dog one more time. Throughout the day, I couldn't help but think about my mother-in-law's attractive figure. My mind wandered to unnecessary thoughts. I won't deny it. I just couldn't control myself. That's how my brain works. In the evening, I went to my mother-in-law's house to walk the adorable pug. Once again, she wouldn't let me leave. She graciously invited me over for coffee and pastries. We sat down at the table and had a nice conversation. Then my mother-in-law asked me if I could give her a back massage. I agreed, as I knew something about it from a course I took when I was young. I told her to lie down on the bed. She lay down, put on a crusty nightgown, and walked past me without any hesitation. I glared at her. I started kneading her back, and as I did so, I couldn't help but notice the beauty that lay before me. I honestly didn't expect her to be this good. She was a mature and stunning woman, wrinkle-free and with fresh skin. I mentally gave her the highest praise. From the back, she didn't look much different from a young girl, except that her face gave away her age. I couldn't resist giving her a massage, which wasn't limited to her lower back. My mother-in-law moaned with pleasure, and the sound took me by surprise. What an incredible massage it was. Interestingly, my mother-in-law was not embarrassed in the least. She acted as if a lower back massage could only end like that. I wasn't worried either. As they say, it happens to everyone. That's the way our bodies work. If it flares up, it flares up. My mother-in-law got out of bed, fixed her shirt that had slipped off her shoulder, and tidied her hair. "I feel much better," she whispered, patting herself on the back, around the tailbone. "You warmed me up good. I'm even sweating." My mother-in-law was right. She felt good from my hands. We sat with her for a while, and I went to my wife's house. At home, my wife asks if you walked my mom's dog. Of course, I said. Of course I did. As agreed? Aren't you tired yet? What's there to be tired of? I answered a question with a question. I went to my mother-in-law's house again. She greeted me with a happy smile and looked even more cheerful than last time. As usual, she gave me a leash. I walked the dog, came back. My mother-in-law is already lying on the couch. Anyone can see what she was implying. This time I wanted to torture her, so I didn't give her a massage right away. Just sat down next to her, and that was it. She was breathing intermittently, poking her fingers in her lower back, remembering the last massage. I yielded to her request, kneaded and pinched, not forgetting the most important thing, the climax, so to speak, of the whole process. My mother-in-law was satisfied and rolled off the bed as a young girl. "What? Back does not hurt?" I asked with a sly smile, a little pulling. In the evening, everything repeated itself. A walk with the dog and a more gentle massage for my mother-in-law. Afterwards, she looked at me with a completely different look. I realized that the massage not only stopped her back pain, but she felt a very strong warmth in her lower abdomen. My mother-in-law's claim that she could not sleep due to back pain was clearly false. It was obvious to me that she was deceiving us, as her mobility contradicted her supposed condition. Even though I knew the truth, I played along and expressed sympathy for her, realizing that I was a participant in her love farce. However, this situation made me realize that my mother-in-law's health was not going to improve. Surprisingly, this discovery did not alarm me. On the contrary, I saw an opportunity to help an elderly woman who needed help, even though she was neither sick nor old. It was all but an appearance. People like her are rare, and I wasn't about to look for another. After all, why would I need another mother-in-law when I already have one? This was a question my wife asked me daily. How's my mom's back? Doesn't it hurt? I pretended I didn't understand, but how could I know? It turned out that very useful to me initial massage skills. What would I do without them? Without these skills, I would not enjoy massaging mother-in-law's lower back. And not only, this is not a simple matter, as they say, there would be a desire. And my mother-in-law and I had the desire, you can be sure. Mother-in-law got into the taste, and I did not lag behind her. I also liked it. One day I made a decision to subtly convey to her a thought, realized that further this cannot continue. In a trembling voice, my mother-in-law asked, what can't go on? I explained, the fact that your back pain won't go away. That might make your daughter suspicious, considering I've been walking your harmful dog all week. Oh, and my wife might start to suspect something. After a moment's thought, the mother-in-law replied, okay, I won't ask you to do that again. She blushed and admitted, as if I don't know it myself, this is absurd. But then, how can we see each other? This question kept my mother-in-law on her toes. If my back doesn't hurt, then we won't have to see each other anymore. Let's solve it this way, she suggested. Let's pretend my doctor has prescribed a treatment that requires me to spend more time in bed. That could be an excuse for me to come to you like I'm walking the dog. I'm going to the hospital in the morning. Good mother-in-law, she always finds a way, especially when it comes to pleasure. That's what I told my wife. I said, your mom has been prescribed warming treatments. When I said that, I fake sighed. I'll have to visit her before work. You can easily say no, my wife said. Let her friends walk the dog in the morning. Aren't you ashamed? I said with feeling. We are close people. The wife was embarrassed silent. She realized that she was a bad daughter, since she was ready to throw her mother's dog on the neighbors. I pretended that even though I didn't want to, I would keep it up. So the meetings with my beloved mother-in-law continue. Massage long ago stopped doing. My back does not hurt, and a lot of time is taken up by this procedure. We have other pleasant things to do, for which we need more time. So my secret meetings with my alluring mother-in-law continued under the guise of warming procedures. I would arrive every morning before work, escort my wife out with a kiss on the cheek, and assure her that I would take care of her poor mom. As soon as she was out the door, the real fun began. My mother-in-law greeted me in increasingly provocative outfits, thin satin gowns that hugged every curve, lace negligees that were so sheer that you could almost see everything underneath. She pulled me straight to the bedroom, where we fell into bed, completely forgetting about walking the dog. Every day, our time together became more daring. Insatiable, we began to risk being caught doing adult things around the house, and especially a lot in the kitchen while my wife was at work. The threat of exposure only heightened our excitement. We just couldn't tear ourselves away from each other. One day, my wife came home from work early, having been sick. My mother-in-law was visiting. I nearly had a heart attack when I saw her car pull up in front of the house while I was vigorously pleasuring her mother from behind in the kitchen among the pots and pans. We rushed to put on our clothes, and my mother-in-law suppressed her screams of pleasure just in time. The wife entered the apartment and did not expect to see her mother. "Mom, what are you doing here?" "Yes, I came to my favorite son-in-law. Thank you to say that did not abandon me when I was bad. And back pain. He helped me a lot then." In the evening in bed, my wife noticed how tired I looked. "You really don't need to keep helping my mom so much if it wears you out, honey." I know you're doing this as a favor to me." I assured her that I was happy to help the family, bestowing her with a sly smile that she didn't understand. And so our story continues, and there is no end to my passionate romance with this insatiable, creative mother-in-law.